Oh, hey there. Didn't know you'd be here, but happy to see you. We're going to talk about how
Do this with you anymore.
we're going to talk about how you shouldn't count calories, and we're going to tell you what to do instead. If you don't know, I'm Seth, and this is Megan, and this is take 5. I don't know. The first one didn't get audio, so we're doing this again, which is lucky for you because it's going to be better this time.
Yeah, totally.
So we do fitness and nutrition coaching. We help people who want to get unstuck with diet and exercise, where you want something more realistic for your life now, because what you used to do 20 years ago isn't a good fit when you are our age, pushing 40 or in your 40s, have kids, and just life's a little bit different now than what it used to be. So we help people with that. And today specifically, we're going to talk about why counting calories is not a good fit for most people.
Yeah.
So should we just jump into it?
I think so.
Okay, so there is no doubt that counting calories has helped some people lose weight. To be fair, most people don't get very far with it. And most weight loss that comes from it is temporary. But it technically can work. Now, out of the small percentage of people that do see success with it, almost no one, I don't know if I've ever heard this in fact, but I'll just be like politically correct or whatever and say almost no one, even though I've never heard anybody say that counting calories makes healthy eating a more natural part of life. Like, oh, this is something where I don't even have to hardly think about it anymore. Most people, I feel like it's the opposite, where counting calories actually makes you more obsessed with thinking about food. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight, but if at the end of it you aren't any healthier, whether it be physically because you lost weight, but the way you did it was through means that make your body feel worse, or it's a mental thing and it's like, okay, now I have more anxiety with food, I'm more stressed out about it, then even though you lost weight, that's still a big fail. And just to be clear, like if you've struggled with counting calories and not getting the results you want from it, I'm not saying that the failure is on your part.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's not your body, it's not your age, it's not that you can't do it.
It's just the system.
It's just the system.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't find a way to feed yourself more healthy foods and make healthy eating more intuitive for you and your entire family.
Without doing math.
Without doing math and without having to do separate things for you and for your kids, and where you can still lose weight at the same time. Like that's all of that is totally possible. You're just going to need a more realistic approach. Yeah. So from my experience, and you can speak to this too,
Okay.
as far as tracking and weighing food, I've done a lot of that.
Yes.
And I know the struggles with it. We both do. So I've done it at home where it's the easiest to do it because you have all your stuff.
And I end up doing most of it.
And it's just super annoying still, but I've done it. I've also, you do it at restaurants where if there's any nutrition information at all, you just hope that it's right. Like you hope that the app is right, or you hope that the portions they're giving you are correct, but you also kind of know like, okay, they probably aren't really. So that's annoying too. And I've even done it while traveling. I used to travel a ton, and doing it while you're on the road is almost impossible. And at the very least, it is annoyingly complicated enough where it's really not worth it.
Unpredictable and inconsistent.
Yeah. It can also be super confusing. So I know I've had questions such as, okay, how many ounces of meat is this that I'm eating? I don't know. I didn't weigh it. So, or if I do weigh it, like, okay, do I weigh this cooked or raw? Which one counts? Or you look at the results on the app and you are like, okay, one result says 150 calories, but this one right below it for the same thing says it's 500 calories. Which one do I pick? Or the question of like, okay, is my friend gonna think I'm weird if I bring a food scale to her house to weigh the potatoes?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
All of that is just not what's important either. Hearing you say that, having to redo the video and hearing you say that again, I'm just like, all of these things are just such minutia that take up so much mental space that really, like you shouldn't be worrying about all these little things in order to get to your goals. Yeah,
I agree. And I do want to say, like, don't get me wrong, there are ways to deal with all of this. I know I'm painting a bleak picture of what this looks like. And in some ways it really is that annoying and that bad, but you can work around it if you really, really wanted to. You just don't have to. So before we get into what you can do instead, I do want to kind of ask the question, like, is there a reason to track anything at all? Do you have to track things? Or could you just not track and just be healthy?
What do you think?
So there's one reason why I do recommend tracking things, which is that it's how you can guarantee that you're going to make progress.
Yeah.
It's you can guarantee that you are making progress because you can see it by the things that you're tracking.
You need to know what's tracked though. You can't just track all the things. So,
Totally.
which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah, so we are. And I do want to make a side note that when I say guarantee, like, we literally guarantee, if you work with us and take on our coaching and we help you, we can guarantee your results because we will track the right things. And like she said, we'll get into that. But I just want to say, like, I'm not just talking out my butt saying you can guarantee this. This is real. Like, you can actually know that what's going to happen is going to happen.
Don't say that again.
Why? Does that make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Which part of it?
The butt.
The butt makes you uncomfortable? Huh, okay. So technically, we'll just move on then. Technically, you can make progress without tracking. Like, I know I've met people who are like, okay, yeah, all I did was cut out soda. I didn't have to track anything. I just stopped eating soda and I lost 10, 15 pounds or whatever.
But usually the buck stops there. Like, that's the end
butt
of the
stops there?
Buck.
Oh, the butt, yeah. No, I agree. Like, you lose those 10, 15 pounds and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it can happen. It can be done without tracking things, but you're a lot more likely to succeed long term if you're tracking your progress along the way. And it can be done really simply too, which we are about to explain. But if you're serious about what you're doing, the point is that if you have to track the right things in order to see that progress and make it happen, which is where we run into another problem with counting calories, by the way. So if you only care about losing weight, like, and that's it, then counting calories is fine. So calories are just like an up or down thing. You can have more or less, and you may have to continue to eat less and less and less and less until you're ultimately starving yourself and depriving your body of the nutrients it needs, but it will get the job done. It's not healthy. It still sucks to have to do it, but you will lose weight. Totally. So that's the problem with just tracking this one thing that's just like, okay, I'm not losing weight. I guess I'll just eat less and less and less. You track it. Sure, you'll lose weight, but it's not going to be healthy. And just for the record, like, anyone who comes to us with that mindset of just like, I don't care, I just want to lose weight, we won't even work with them.
Yeah.
Because that's not what we do. It's not healthy, and we're not going to contribute to that. Now, on the other hand, if losing weight is more of just like an added benefit, like, you do want to lose some weight, but ultimately your bigger picture goals are things like having more energy or finding realistic ways to eat healthy and exercise as a parent with young kids, and building up habits that you actually feel good about passing down to those kids and creating a healthier environment for your family, aka not counting calories, because
not telling your 10-year-old, oh, that has 500 calories in it. We're not going to eat
I
that.
can't imagine for either of our kids or anyone's kids saying, well, we need to start counting calories. Like, that's just going to...
Yeah. Just creates a terrible mental, I don't know, environment about food. Creates that bad and good and just not good.
Not good for kids, and it's not good for you either, to be honest. So but my point is, if your goals are those bigger picture things of just being healthier, and weight loss is part of that, but not the only focus, then that's great. You're in the right place. We would love to help you. And we're going to tell you now what you can track and how you can track things in a little bit different way that's a little bit easier and healthier all around. So with those goals in mind, like, you just want a healthier lifestyle, one that makes sense with a family that keeps you busy, and a body that doesn't quite feel the same as it did 20 years ago, then you're going to have to track things that are going to actually make you healthier. And you have to do it in a way that's convenient enough that you can stick with it for a long time, so that healthy eating does eventually become second nature. Because you're not going to track forever. This is what we're about to show you is an easy way to do it, but you're not going to track forever. And so
the goal is to make it as simple as possible so you can be consistent with it for as long as it takes.
For as long as it takes to eventually track less and less until it's just, oh, I just am eating healthy because I know how to do this now.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to show you is called the hand guide, and it addresses both of those concerns. So your body doesn't just need calories, which is just energy. It also needs nutrients, which is the stuff in food that keeps our bodies functioning well. And the hand guide is a simple way to track both of those things without all the numbers involved, with literally tracking the calories and grams on everything. Yeah. So you want to talk about how that works and what that looks like?
And so the hand guide is broken into 4 different categories to help you get all the nutrients you need. So you basically use your hand to portion out the different categories of food. And so for protein, you would use the palm of your hand and use the diameter and the thickness to gauge how much protein you're putting on your plate. And so most people need about 5 to 6 servings a day. It could be higher, it could be lower based on their body mass and their goals, not whether they're overweight or really muscular, just literal body mass.
5 or 6 portions is a good starting point for most people. Most people don't need a lot more or a lot less unless you are kind of on the extreme end of size. But 5 or 6 regardless is a good place to start.
And so the next thing you can track with your hand is veggies. And so you use your fist to gauge how much veggies you're having each day. A fist-sized portion looks like this, and you need about 6 to 8 during the day, which is very contrasting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many people, or how many servings do you think most people get?
1 to 2
per day.
Yeah,
and they need 6 to 8.
6 to 8 to just feel they're optimal, and that's really going to help them get more of those smaller nutrients that help their body flourish. And the other 2 macronutrients, the big nutrients that we track with the hand guide, are carbs. And so you use your cupped hand for carbs, and then your thumb for fats. And it's smaller because fats are more nutrient dense than the other ones. And so for each of those, they're really going to range drastically
for how many you need.
For how many you need, depending on your body size and your goals. But a good place to start is just to get 1 to 2 servings 3 to 4 times a day, and scale up, scale down, depending on what you're seeing and what goals you're working towards.
Yeah. So not only is this ultimately the whole thing a lot more simple just on its own than counting calories, it also...
Oh, I want to interrupt you.
I
just said a lot. If you want
a
visual just to download and keep or screenshot on your phone, I'm going to have one on the blog, and I can link that to you so you can keep it handy and kind of reference that so you don't forget it. So just either comment or message me, and I'll make sure that you can have access to that.
Yeah, just say, I want the hand guide picture. Or something like that.
Like a robot. It's perfect.
Yeah, if you put a little robot emoji, then we'll really know for sure.
Oh, we really know you're listening.
So not only is this simple, but it also gives you an opportunity to make it even another step easier by just tracking one thing at a time. So Megan mentioned, like, most people don't get nearly enough veggies, or maybe you heard protein, you're like 5 or 6 portions of protein. How am I ever going to do that? You don't have to do all of this at once. You can build up these habits as you go. So if you do struggle with protein, just focus on that. Where are you missing it from? Is it from breakfast? Is it from lunch? But could you just work on one meal? You can really make it simple so that you're not just tracking, I gotta get enough protein. You can just start with, am I getting a protein at breakfast?
Yeah, that's a lot of times that's where we start with clients. Like, okay, let's add a palm of protein to your breakfast. And then we build all the meals with protein like that, and then we move on to veggies and like that, just step by step, baby steps. If you can break it down into a smaller step, that's what we do.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be the number of portions that you're getting either. It can be something like, okay, let's say for carbs, you need to get, you should have some carbs, that 1 to 2 servings 3 or 4 times a day. But most of them right now are coming from super yummy, like highly processed foods. Like you have donuts for breakfast, and I don't
bread, not gonna,
certain types of bread anyway. Yeah, let's just say that most of your servings are coming from that. The point is, then what you can do is you can work on just increasing the number of servings that are coming from just higher quality food sources of carbs. So again, that's just another thing that you can work on and track, so that you're just doing one thing at a time and making it even easier and ultimately healthier, because by viewing nutrition like this, instead of just calories, high or low, you're getting the nutrients, then you're gonna have a better chance of your eating habits actually helping you feel better. And it can really completely transform your relationship with food too in a healthy way.
Yeah. If you go from, okay, this has 100 calories, I can't eat this, or this has 500 calories, I need to have that, to, oh, how can I add some protein and some vegetables to my meal? That is going to carry you a lot longer into learning how to build your plate naturally versus just focusing on the numbers.
That's a good way to put it. Now, I do want to say that there is something super important. This is the most important part, maybe arguably, I'll just say it is. The most important is that you have to understand that what we're talking about here is not some new diet. I know it has a name, it's the hand guide, and we're talking about this thing, but it's not a diet. This isn't like going and, oh, I'm doing keto. It's all of this stuff is just things that you need to know at a very foundational level for nutrition and for your life. Stuff that we all should have been taught as kids, and we really weren't. And in fact,
Missed the boat with the food pyramid.
yeah, that didn't quite cover it. And this is the stuff that we're teaching our kids. Like, we feel good about passing these habits down to them because it's not demonizing food. It's not saying, oh, that's too many calories or that's a bad food. It's just saying, oh, okay, you had that, great. That was whatever. That's a carb, and let's make sure we get some protein, and just getting a good balance of these things. It's all just that foundational stuff you need to know, not a new diet that you need to learn. This is stuff you need to know regardless of diet you're on. You don't need to be on a diet. You just learn this stuff. The hand guide itself is just a simple tool for helping you understand it and then putting it into practical use. So it gives you a good, easy, practical step that you can take with it. And I will say the hand guide too it's also worked for literally tens of thousands of people. We didn't make it up. This is something that's been around for a while. But whether you use it or not is really not as important as whether you just need to implement the concepts behind it. So the other thing I'm going to say too is that if you do have a specific weight loss goal, like if that's something that really is important to you, there are other things that you'll need to track along with this, which we can help you with, or we can point you to some resources for. I just want to say this isn't the only aspect of that. Weight loss has a few more things that you'd want to make sure that you've got down.
So you don't have to keep eating less and less.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly. But the point is, you still need to start here with these principles of giving your body the nutrients that it needs in the amount that it needs in order to feel good and function well.
This is where we start all our clients. This is the baseline.
Yep. And remember, it's not something you have to track forever.
Yeah.
We're not saying do it this way for the rest of your life and always track these things. It's really just the first step in learning to eat healthy so that you don't have to think about it all the time for the rest of your life. It's going to get easier over time. You'll be able to track less, and you'll just
less of a burden.
You'll go from tracking to tracking less and less to ultimately just going, oh, I'm just eating now because I know how to do this.
Which sounds harder. I think it's more work, but it's better results.
I don't know. Counting calories is a lot of work, and it doesn't lead to those long-term results. So I would rather do this and think of the long-term because it's less tedious and ultimately healthier for you. So I still say go this way. Most people should not be counting calories, and now you know kind of what the alternative is instead. And again, if you want that picture of the hand guide to see how it looks, just leave a comment, let us know, and we'll make sure that you get the link for that.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.